Good day, everyone. We are still discussing about the SMEs, the small and medium-sized enterprise. Now, we're going to dive deeper about equity. So, what is equity? Equity simply means what is left for the owner of a business after all the debts have been paid. If we're going to go back at the very basic accounting equation, which is the asset is equals to liabilities plus owner's equity, kung i-squeeze natin yon, magiging yung equity is equals to asset minus liabilities. So, in a more formal term, equity is the residual interest in the asset of an entity after deducting all of its liabilities. So, when we take everything that the business owns, kung yung lahat ng asset ng business, and then i-subtract natin doon, i-deduct natin doon yung liabilities, yung mga kailangan nating bayaran, yung remaining value, yun lang yung masasabi natin na pagmamay-ari talaga ng owners. How is equity calculated? So, yung equity, it is actually made up of three main parts. We have the investment by the owners of the entity, the profits earned and kept in the business, and any losses or withdrawal. So, yung investment from the owners, this is the money or assets that the owners put into business. So, kumbaga, ito yung money or assets na contribution siya ni owner at ni-invest niya sa business. Profits earned and kept in the business. Ito naman yung mga earnings natin, di ba? Yung retained earnings natin. Are you familiar, right? So, dapat i-distribute sana natin siya as dividends, pero hindi natin siya dinistribute, but instead, we keep it para mag-grow siya. So, yun yung rinorolyo natin. So, kung ano yung na-earn natin, hindi natin siya distribute as dividend, but we keep it in the business for it to grow. So, yun yung retained earnings natin. Minus any losses or withdrawal. So, if ever na yung business mayroong losses or yung part of our retained earnings na kunyari nag-declare tayo ng dividends, tapos pinamigay natin back to the owner, yung equity natin, bababa siya, magdi-decrease siya. So, in short, equity is also equal to owner's investment plus retained earnings minus losses and distribution. So, measurement of equity shares. So, let us talk about how we measure equity share. When a company issues equity share, they are measured at their fair value. Basically, kung ano yung nare-receive ni company in return, like cash or other asset, minus any cost that is related to issuing those share. Kung yung payment naman, it is delayed, yung delay, it will significantly affect the value. So, we will use present value because we need to consider the time value of money. So, yung present value, which is PV factor, PV of 1, present value of ordinary annuity, and present value of annuity due. Also, any transaction cost, like yung legal fees, mga cost that is related to issuing shares are subtracted from our equity. So, comparison with full PFRS, quick note on the standard. When you are using PFRS for SME or full PFRS, they are practically the same when it comes to recording equity instrument, treasury shares, compound financial instrument, equity swap or extinguishment of financial liability by issuing equity instrument, dividends, and other related equity matters. Let us talk about share-based payment transaction. So, there are situations where a company, they pay for goods or services using its own share or based on the value of its share. So, meron tayong two main types. We have equity settled share-based payment and cash settled share-based payment. So yung equity settled share-based payment, this is when the company give a share to someone, usually employees, in exchange for services. So parang it is a way to reward or to motivate the employees by giving them a piece of ownership in the company. So next is the cash settled share-based payment. So in this case naman, the company doesn't give share, instead nagbabayad sila ng cash. So yung amount nakabase siya sa kung ano nga ba talaga yung halaga ng company's share. So the employee still benefit from the company's performance but in the form of cash instead of shares. Share options. Now let's talk about share options. These are often given to employees or company officers. A share option gives the employee the right to buy company shares at a certain price in the future, usually if they meet a certain condition. So, kapag kunyari merong greatest contribution si employee sa company, usually binibigyan siya ng share option. So you have the option to buy the company share if ever na ma-meet mo yung ganitong condition. So ganun siya. These options are treated as extra compensation. The company must measure the value of this compensation based on the fair value of the option at the date it is granted. So since the company nagbibigay sila ng shares, this is an equity settled transaction. Recognition of share option compensation. So there are two cases if option vests immediately. So ibig sabihin, kapag si employee, hindi nila kailangan mag-work ng extra time to earn those share option compensation, then yung company dapat nilang i-recognize as full expense right away. But if option vests over time, means na yung employee, kailangan pa nilang magstay in the company for a period of time before getting the option. Yung expense, i-record natin siya gradually, i-allocate natin siya over the service period. Then, let's move on to share appreciation rights. So, this is a bit different because yung share appreciation right, nagbibigay siya ng right sa employees na maka-receive ng cash based on how much the company share price increase. So, if ever na yung share price mag-increase siya, the employee also get a cash bonus that is equal to that increase. So, since this involves a cash payment, it is considered a cash settled transaction and it creates liability for the company because may liability si company na bayaran kay employee yung portion na nag-increase doon sa share. Measurement and recognition. So, the value, it is measured at the end of each year until mabayaran, and any changes in value are recorded in the income statement. So, like share option, if it vests immediately, then expense is recognized right away. But if it vests over time, yung expense is spread out natin siya on that period. Now, share-based payment with a cash alternative. So, sometimes, a company gives a choice. So, gusto mo, cash or shares? So, in most cases, the company should treat it as a cash-settled transaction. However, if the company usually pay shares or if yung cash option is worth much less than the share, then it can be treated as equity settled. So, comparison. PFRS for SMEs versus full PFRS. So, both actually require fair value measurement on the grant date. But under full PFRS, if ever na yung fair value, hindi natin siya ma-measure, then we can use the intrinsic value. So, what is intrinsic value? That is the difference between the market price and the option price. Under PFRS for SMEs, if walang na-mention, nagagamit tayo ng intrinsic value as an alternative, then gagamitan natin is still the fair value. The specialized activities under PFRS for SMEs. So, let's talk about specialized activities. We have three. We have the agriculture, exploration and evaluation of mineral resources, and service concession. Agriculture. Agriculture is the management by an entity of the biological transformation and harvest of biological asset for sale or for conversion into agricultural produce or additional biological asset. So, this involves management of living plants and animals, which are called biological assets, and the harvested product, which we call agricultural produce. So, biological asset, example yan is cow, we have the mango tree, and then yung agricultural produce, we have the milk and the harvested mango. So, paano nga ba natin mini-measure yung agriculture, the biological assets and agricultural produce? If it's easy to find the fair value, then ang gagamitin natin is fair value minus cost to sell. But if it is not easy or too costly, masyadong mahal, hindi natin siya ma-determine even though we really put effort, then ang measurement natin is cost less accumulated depreciation and impairment. So, after harvesting, yung produce, i-measure natin siya as fair value minus cost to sell, and this becomes an inventory value. So, I wanted to highlight that PFRS for SMEs and full PFRS have similar rule for agriculture. Now, let us talk about exploration and evaluation of mineral resources. So, what is this about? So, ito, an entity that is engaged in exploration and evaluation of mineral resources. So, some companies, they spend money to look for oil, gas, or any mineral resources. And these are called exploration expenditure. So, yung accounting treatment natin, the company, the entity, must create a policy to account for exploration and evaluation. So, they can treat exploration expense as tangible assets like equipment or intangible asset like the exploration rights. Measurement, ang initial measurement natin is at cost. Yung tangible assets, pwede natin siyang i-measure as cost or evaluation model subsequently, and yung intangible asset naman, under SMEs, dapat ang gamitin lang is cost model only. So, compared to full PFRS, both standards are similar. Similar lang yung SMEs for PFRS for SMEs and full PFRS, but ang difference lang is sa full PFRS, nag-aalaw sila, pumapayag sila na yung intangible assets na magkaroon rin ng revaluation. Now, let's move on to service concession. So, service concession is an arrangement whereby a government or other public sector enters into a contract with a private operator to develop, operate, and maintain an infrastructure. So, this is a contract between the government and a private company to build and operate public service like road, airports, hospitals, and more. So, even though the private company, sila yung nagpagawa, sila yung nag-maintain, but still the government control it. So, the company or the entity, they cannot record it as their property, plant, and equipment. Instead, pwede nilang recognize as either, first, a financial asset if they are guaranteed cash payment, and an intangible asset if ever na yung ni-build na yun na infrastructure, makaka-earn sila doon ng money and the amount depend on how much the people use those infrastructure. Ang measurement, initially at fair value. So, subsequent measurement para sa SMEs, yung financial asset, i-measure natin siya as amortized cost. But in full PFRS, pwede natin gamitin both amortized cost and fair value model. Now, meron din dito ang hyperinflation. So, hyperinflation, when a country's money loses value very quickly, which means na yung prices na, yung pagtaas ng prices is very fast. PFRS doesn't set a fixed number, but as a general guide, kapag yung inflation of over 100% in 3 years, pwede na yung mag-indicate as hyperinflation. So, yung other sign, pwedeng yung mga tao, they actually stop trusting the local currency or they save money in foreign currency or non-monetary assets. So, what are we going to do for hyperinflation? So, ang financial statement, dapat i-adjust natin siya to show the current value at the reporting date. So, yung gain and losses because of the inflation, ipapakita natin siya sa ating income statement. Again, PFRS for SMEs and full PFRS handle hyperinflation the same way. Now, we're done about equity. Thank you so much.
So, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Today we will be trying to solve. We will be trying to solve a problem for Chapter 31. Equity for SME. So actually the questions here are comprehensive, so let's still try to answer it. You may pause the video so that you can read the following information. So SME prepare the following statement of financial position at year end. So ito yung statement of financial position na ni-prepare ni SME. So you may just pause the video muna. So let's move on to the questions. So what amount should be reported as total current assets? What amount should be reported as total current liabilities? And what amount should be reported as retained earnings at year end? What amount should be reported as equity attributable to the parent? And what amount should be reported as total shareholders' equity? So let's try to solve it. So to answer question number 1, we have question number 1. Question number 1, ang question is ano yung total current assets? So we just add up our CCE, our accounts receivable, our allowance for doubtful accounts, and our inventory. So, di ba may dalawa tayong inventory? Yung at cost at yung fair value less cost to sell. So, our CCE, we have 230,000. And then, we have our accounts receivable of 1.9 million. And we deduct our allowance for doubtful accounts, which is 200,000. And then we have our total inventory of 1.18 million or 1,180,000. So kunin lang natin yung total niyan. So our total current assets is 3,110,000. So this is letter C. Moving on to question number 2. Ang question number 2, ang question is ano yung total current liabilities? So, let's list down our total current liabilities. We have accounts payable. Accounts payable of 250,000. Accrued expenses. Accrued expenses of 200,000. We have warranty provision of 400,000. And then we also have provision for vacation leave. Provision prov for vacation leave. We have 450,000. So we add that. We also have dividends payable, diba? We also have dividends payable, 100,000. I-add rin natin yung current portion ng long-term debt. Dun sa long-term na debt natin. So we have 500,000. And then we also have an interest. Interest on long-term debt. LTD. Our interest is 230,000. So I think yun lang. Therefore, we just add that up. 250 plus 200 plus 400 plus 450 plus 100 plus 500 plus 230. We have 2,130,000. So that is letter C also. So moving on to question number 3. Question number 3, hanapin lang natin kung ano yung retained earnings natin sa year end or your ending retained earnings. So to look for our retained earnings, we get our retained earnings beginning. We have 1,910,000. So, diba? So, we also add our net income for the year. Our net income for the year, we have, current year, we have 1 million. And then, add rin natin yung non-controlling interest. Non-controlling interest. Share of NI. So we have this is for the year na non-controlling interest. We deduct this. We do not add this. We deduct it. And then we also deduct yung dineclare natin na dividends. Dividends declared. We have 100,000. So, yun lang. Then, mahanap na natin yung retained earnings ending natin. Retained earnings. And, we have 2,690,000. So, that is our retained earnings ending. So, that is still letter C. We move now to question number 4. So, question number 4, ang question is, what amount should be reported as equity attributable to the parent? So, we just actually add yung share capital natin at saka yung retained earnings na ending natin. So, our share capital is 1.5 million. Now, we add our retained earnings of 2.69. So, meron tayong for total o our equity attributable to the parent is 4,190,000. So, that is, again, still letter C. And we are down to our last question. Ang hinahanap natin is what amount should be reported as total shareholders equity. So, to get this, we only actually add our equity attributable to parent, equity attributable to parent of 4,190,000. And then we also add our non-controlling interest of 730,000. Total of 4,920,000 are she. So this is also again letter C. So that is all. Thank you for listening.